What's up, LinkedIn slash YouTube? Another video. So for this video, this is gonna be kind of separate from my other videos on like self-improvement and whatnot, just because I want to explore other particular interests. I'm also, I don't know if I indicated this to you guys, but I'm also a big reader. I habitually read all sorts of books, and obviously sometimes never really finish all of the books. But there is one book I've been enjoying lately, and I think I read it for like 2.5 hours before getting up today. So yeah, I haven't been as productive as I would have liked to be today, but that's fine. But I did enjoy this book though. It's let me get it for you guys so you can see it. So I'm not all talk. Don't you hate all talk when people just say stuff but they don't do it? I hate it. So this right here is The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. So I kind of just want to do an analysis of the book and my own interpretation and take of the book. I haven't finished the whole thing yet. It's gonna take me a while to finish, but I read a good 200 pages, so I believe I have a fairly good understanding of the book itself. So The Fountainhead is basically just a fictional story that has to do with Ayn Rand's ideas of objectivism, which is, I don't quite understand that aspect of it. But there's this main character. No, what the heck is his name? And I just read it and I don't remember it. 1 second. That's right. I'm gonna look it up as I make this video. I have no problem with that. There it is. It's Howard. His name is Howard Roark. So he is basically this main character, if you will. He's this, I don't want to say a three-dimensional character. I would say he's fairly two-dimensional in shape, because he doesn't embody the classical aspects of humanness or humanity, if you will, because his obsession is not with the materialist. He's this antisocial person of no emotion, and this pure lovingness of his own passion and profession is his motivation, and there's no intrinsic pursuit of money or worth. Rather, he purposefully pursues the hard path and the hard life. And I'm really fascinated by this book because, I mean, it's a really dense book. I mean, if you're gonna pick this book up, I don't really recommend picking up any more books. But I do because I'm me. So Howard Roark, he goes to a really good college. He ends up getting expelled because he picks a type of classicalist architecture, pretty much. So the architecture and her set of the story isn't all that relevant. But what I do believe is relevant is the contrastment by which she creates the story, because she has this other person named Peter Keatings who graduates from the university. He's the talk of the town. He's the social climber, if you will. He's what I would want to be, frankly speaking. But it's also interesting too, because she indicates that that Peter isn't exactly living his own life. He's not following his own destiny, and Peter always tempts Howard to go through the classical normative mechanisms by which you can achieve your ambitions. And so obviously he was the president of the fraternity, best GPA on the planet. He gets accepted at the best architectural firm there is. And Howard, he picks the worst firm from this modern classicalist of architecture. So pretty much he's an innovator, and he innovates and he believes in his own resolute ideals, but at the same time he doesn't impose those ideals on others. So another interesting factor about Howard is that he's stoic and emotionless. Stoicism, if you will. He doesn't approach situations or answers as if they're intrinsically bad. He sees a problem and he approaches the problem until he can solve the problems. And Peter obviously resents Howard because he's so in control of his emotions, and he wants to get a rise of emotion out of him to find his own humanity or humility, but he doesn't express those capacities to feel those emotions. So in that aspect, it was kind of, I don't really identify much with Rourke. I find him a loser in some aspects, from my own interpretation. But he does end up living his own life, and he does get his own firm, but he only gets 4 or 5 commissions, and he makes modernist buildings, but they don't, aren't representative. They aren't representative of his full ideals, because his form of architecture, he doesn't believe in the neoclassical Baroque architecture of the Roman era, and he believes it's a waste of time. So the architecture is not really relevant to the story. What is relevant though is Rand tells 2 stories of a Peter Keatings who's basically successful as hell. He's a millionaire. He's rich. And he resents Rourke, who's basically a loser in some aspect, because he goes to his office every day for 8 hours a day, every day, and he just stares at the wall, smokes, and he patiently waits for a customer. That's all he does. So it's laudable, because Peter's life is being affected by his mother, if you will. So I find that fascinating. Yeah, I encourage you guys to read the book. So, I mean, as myself as a libertarian, I read this book to, still am reading it to further expand my understanding of libertarianism, because this is supposed to be a foundational book on libertarian philosophy, but I don't really understand its relation to freedom or the Constitution or anything like that. It's just more of a fictional philosophy, if you will. And then obviously there's one aspect in the book where he ends up this one's very complex, so I don't profess to fully understand her literature, but Howard ends up raping the girl who owns the main firm, and it's pretty interesting how she uses this dynamic of rape between the man and the girl. So she implicitly suggests that the character wanted the rape, or the mutual consent, if you will. So it wasn't actually rape how it was portrayed, but rather it was she wanted. So the character, I don't remember her name, but she's basically she believes in corruption. She doesn't believe in the condition of men, because the condition of man and men is, they believe she's this saint in this character because of her own beauty and her own naturalism, if you will. So they're basically, all the men that come into our lives are doormats, and Howard is this unreal, unemotionalist character who loves his work, even though his life has been mediocre and horrendous, and he doesn't really have anything, but he loves his life. So so pretty much Ayn Rand creates this dynamic of this idealism, this innocent idealism that has not been tainted by the world, and she wants herself to be purged in some aspect sense. So the dynamic description, it's almost as if Rourke purges her of her corruption or something. I know it sounds really weird. I don't really know what to make of it. See, I was pretty shocked that Rourke did such a heinous act. So, but Ayn Rand's writing is very nuanced, and it's very interesting. I don't know what it has to do with libertarianism. It's pretty interesting when I'm reading it. But anyways, I want to finish up. I'm gonna add another video onto an analysis, but I'm just summing up some of the book. I recommend you guys read it. It's really good. Good fiction. Yeah, I don't know. It's not really practical or anything. Just for enjoyment. That's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below. Thank you, LinkedIn and YouTube. I will make a second video with analysis and how we can apply it.